Hi guys, this is going to be the first video that I'm publishing all up around. I was going to do some editing and whatnot, but it is 45 minutes, but I figured it's Starfield, and having a discussion from a newbie and people who don't know anything about it to people who actually research it, actually it's kind of a really cool way of introducing it to players who wouldn't normally play. Without further ado, let's just get into it, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so we got the microphone, we got the background, we got the headphones, and we're turning down that background music. There we go. Here we are, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here in episode Channel 2. God, I have words, man. Use them. Episode 2, Twitchside chat, and the hopes and dreams of Starfield seems to be a big ticket item. It's been hitting the news pretty good lately for Bethesda, and of course, there's a lot of speculation going on. Those guys have been doing it way better than I have, so I'll leave them to it, but let's bring it down to brass tacks. I'm joined today by two people today. As you guys know, my henchman in a cohort in crime and very, very slavey taskmaster who I always game nap is Pac-Man. How you doing, Pac-Man?
Doing very well.
Outstanding. And here's a curveball, guys. We got Deusvultdon. He is
Howdy.
Yeah, he's a fellow content creator on Twitch. You want to give us your socials, brother?
Oh, it's just Deusvultdon, TTV. I have a Twitch. I don't know, or not a Twitch, but a Twitter. I don't know that.
Oh, that's fine.
As when I remember that, I'll put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of threw this shit together. What we have on the dock today is we're going to be playing Hell Let Loose. But first, let's get into the awesomeness that is speculative with Starfield. So let's go ahead and go to our Twitchside chat panel and get into it. Let's go ahead and get that intro music. As much as I love Jeff plays guitar, if I hear that music, I get a little sidetracked. So we've got some talking points. Pac-Man, out of the kindness of his heart and risking his sanity, he decided to post some stuff up there on Discord. You want to go ahead and take it away, Pac-Man? And then we can go by it bit by bit?
Sure. Probably just go by these first two in one go.
Sure.
So I don't know what... Because they seem to get a lot of inspiration for this game from Skyrim, No Man's Sky, and Elder Scrolls. But I don't know where this Create Engine 2 came from. Maybe it's brand new. Maybe they've done other things and this is the first time Bethesda's using them. But Starfield was created on this Create Engine 2. But it says it's the first game to ever be supported by this engine, so I think it's brand new.
Yeah, it's my sense that Creation Engine 2, the Creation Engine has been made or used, I believe it was Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 4. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that it is fully supported for, because they have this Creation Engine kit that's put out to modders, and that's what allows for the full mod support.
Okay.
So I think they probably upgraded a lot of the tools for modders to support and put out more content for, in this case, Starfield. That's my sense of it. Anything else?
It sounds like it, and it sounds like they might be giving them just a lot of material to work with in the gaming world.
Right. Well, I mean that kind of falls into with your next point. 1,000+ planets. I think it was 100 different star systems or something like that. That is a lot of real estate for modders to play around in. That's like
yes, it is
one hell of a playground, especially from the perspective of a first person or a single player game. So that's going to be amazing. I mean, you look at all the mods that you have for Skyrim, all the mods that you have for Fallout 4. All the different player homes that you can get in Fallout 4, it's insane. And the cool thing about that, I'd feel remiss in the fact that a lot of modders will actually put in content that was considered or rumored to be cut. I believe
they just added themselves.
Yeah. They said, all right, well, Bethesda dropped the ball on this. I'll just pick that mantle up and carry on the thing. Anything to add there, Don? I mean, you're the outsider, and you
No,
know.
no, but Modders for Bethesda have done fucking great things for communities, especially for Fallout 4, because when they dropped it, there's still those bugs that weren't patched, and one of the greatest things that I think they came out with is, if you don't like bugs in games, was the unofficial Fallout 4 patch, which patched all of those bugs, so you're not worrying about having to, missions not being completed because somebody died that wasn't supposed to, and stuff along those lines when it comes to mods. So that community does a great job of fixing stuff that Bethesda should have already fixed before they released their game.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, for those of you who recognize my symbol as the Fallout letter P, I'm what Rad King would call a geriatric. I haven't given 76 a full shake or a fair shake. I don't play it for my own reasons, but I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum. But at the same time, I sunk a shit ton of hours into Fallout 4, and love it or like it, or love it or hate it. There you go. There's a proper choice. The settlement building was revolutionary in my mind, because you could run out and basically make sanctuary however you wanted. You could go to the castle and do whatever you wanted, and then on top of that, modders came in and they changed the atmosphere. I mean, it's like a completely different game. It looks and plays like a different game. There's a lot of mods out there that do a lot. So, yeah. So our next bit is
yep, the next one. Someone said that there are over 250,000 lines of dialogue. And that's not including your character, because your character in this game doesn't speak.
Yeah.
So
So
apparently that's 4 more times the dialogue that Skyrim had and double what Fallout 4 had. All with you not talking.
I was like 16 times the detail. Sorry, it's on the Fallout 76 thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of voice work, and
it's a lot of voice work.
Yeah, there was a video. I don't know if probably you don't know, but Lex Friedman had a sit down with.
It was like 3 hours.
Yeah, Todd Howard. It was very illuminating. I listened to it when I was working, and
I watched a bit of it.
Yeah, it's like the dialogue was a work in progress, because usually when they develop games, they lay down the lines of dialogue and then they say, all right, thanks voice actors, you can go home now, we don't need you anymore. They cut them a check and off they go. But apparently that's a little bit different for this game. So
it seems like it.
Yeah. Don?
No, yeah, fucking just that amount of voice work, because even in regards to Skyrim, your character never technically talked, but he had like dialogue in a way, air quotations dialogue.
I think it's kind of the same way in this game.
Well, I mean, Skyrim, you want to say his dragon shots is dialogue? No, that's the end of the discussion.
In regards to that, I'm talking about like more or less when you go talk to like, the Jarl Balgriff the Greater, as all the memes coming out now are about him, but it's like in where you're choosing the dialogue lines, if it's something along those lines, that's still just crazy to think that it's 4 times the dialogue of Skyrim when your character's not even talking. It's just
yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be kind of like a Mass Effect, where you go up and you have like a dialogue wheel maybe, but you don't voice any of it. And and that was a big thing for Fallout 4. You say you basically had 3 options if you were lucky, maybe 4 for whatever skills you have. But you're like, yeah, I want to say that. Oh, that sounds something that's respectful, and you select it, and then what comes out of your character's mouth is like, that isn't anywhere near what I was thinking about saying. It doesn't match what's on the tin. So there was that. So I think that was a pretty good call on Bethesda's part to yank out a voice actor thing. But having said that, some of the mods that are coming out for Fallout 4 and Skyrim and all that stuff, some of these mods are fully voice acted. from independent modders, and that blows my mind. I was like, if you can let me get a piece of that, I'd love to be a voice actor. I mean, if it's just grunts and moans, I mean, that's fine. Put my name in the voice voice game credit. So, so the next thing is no multiplayer yet, but will most likely stay single player.
Yeah.
You know, there is a mod. Now, back me up, Don. Maybe I have a feeling that you know more
There's a
about
mod
this.
for everything.
Well, there's a mod for multiplayer in Skyrim, isn't there?
Yes, but it's only for PC, which I believe is downloadable through the Nexus mod.
Right.
On PC, but there's no, you can't get that on console, unfortunately.
Well,
But
to be fair,
there is
though,
a multiplayer mod.
Right. Well, to be fair, I mean, console players have always got the short end of the stick, and that's why the PC players are like PC Master Race. We can do all this, and you can't. Neener. But I think Bethesda did a really good job breaking that mold and allowing mods to be put on their console games.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah, I mean,
The thing also is that Bethesda, without those modders, they wouldn't have very many games out.
well, let's cut that loaf a different way. I think, in my opinion, the modding community revitalizes whatever game that they decide to pay attention to. And you know, Skyrim, with however many goddamn releases they've got on all these different freaking things. I mean, shit, they sold a Switch version. I think it was the Switch version for like $70. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know, I mean, it has been over a decade. Skyrim would not be a going concern, in my opinion, if it wasn't for the modding community. It definitely adds to the shelf life. And, you know, I mean, hey, great. Because then it gives, you know, Bethesda to actually put out a new IP such as Starfield. That's why I'm pretty stoked about this. But
I'm excited for this game.
me too. And we'll get into what got me so goddamn I'm a knickers in a twist for it. But let's go. Okay, so Todd Howard says, and this is a quote that you put down, it is like Skyrim in space.
Yeah.
No, that's
That
fine.
wasn't really a talking point.
Well, no, well, all right. Well, so there's some naysayers that I saw online, you know, like on Twitter and other Discord communities. They said that, oh, well, it's just going to be like No Man's Skyrim. Hey, you know what? Give me that. Sure.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That sounds amazing. I mean, it's a new fucking IP, and we as players need to band together and says, you know what? This is a good idea. Back it. Vote with your money. That's my personal opinion. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, if you don't, you know, back woke garbage and this, you know, people shitting on all over the Star Trek, the Star Wars, Marvel series, you know, whatever. I mean, look at what happened with Battlefield. I'm sure you were part of the, you know, you saw some of that, Don, right? What, Battlefield
2042?
Yeah, 2042. And the guy says, if you don't like it, don't buy it, and put up or shut up. It underperformed by a factor of like fucking 15. It was nuts.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, skill check system, and it will be point based. Skill checks include, but not limited to, persuasion, guilt.
I believe so.
Guilt.
Guilt trip people. That's.
Oh, what happens if that could be on the way back? Hey, Cratch Kish, how you doing, man? We're just talking Bethesda here on the Twitchside chat, episode 2. And we got some talking points. I'm damn glad you came, Kish. For those, oh, by the way, Pac-Man, Kish is the guy that was doing that First Class Trouble, and him and his cadre of guys were doing pretty good, teaching this new boy how to die in fire. But yeah, dude, could you imagine if somebody could guilt trip you and then you'd be powerless to do it? That would be nuts.
That'd be awesome, but at the same time, terrible.
I know, right? And then your next is jump range on your ship instead of actual fuel usage. Jumping from system to system will determine how you upgrade your starship. So that sounds like like the indium, cadmium, and the emerald drive systems they have in No Man's Sky. You think it's going to be something like that?
It could be. I don't think it's that. There might be a couple of those, if there are any, but it sounds more like just you have to go a certain distance to get somewhere. Some of the more late game stuff will be a lot further away. You'll have to upgrade your ship to make the distance.
Well, I mean, you talk about the jump range, and of course that's all modular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't multitask to save my life. I'm reading what Kish said. Yeah, you were doing great. Saw your notification pop up, so figured I'd. Yeah, sure, man. I'm always up for interacting with peeps. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, jump range. So this kind of reminds me of Elite Dangerous. For those of you who don't know, and that's fine. I mean, it's a niche game, but I'm a space nerd anyway. Elite Dangerous allows you to upgrade different ships, and they have maximum and minimum jump ranges, and you can outfit the kit and the mast and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the different permutations of spaceships. And apparently, that coupled with the modding community, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing like a Millennium Falcon in there, man. I'm looking to see like Babylon 5 stuff. All right, this might be coming. I mean, you guys were probably just a glimmer in your daddy's eye when Babylon 5 was around, but just think of it. I mean, you got all the different sci-fi games
Flying
in the history.
ship.
You like Battlestar Galactica. You're gonna get like freaking stuff from Wing Commander, like the Kilrathi ships. You're thinking, or I'm thinking anyway, of like all the different stuff from Star Wars, Star Trek, freaking DS9, right? That's gonna be amazing.
Thargoids.
Sorry?
Ooh, Thargoid ships.
Or that too, but I don't. No space roaches.
I want a flying pancake.
Flying, right? But I mean, all the different space, they're like, I mean, it's gonna be great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how the modding community approaches this. So, anyway,
We'll definitely have our eyes peeled.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll definitely have our eyes peeled
Oh,
for
yeah.
what people are coming out with.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what's next on your list here.
But yeah, the music creator for Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 is doing the music for Starfield.
Now that's actually interesting. That actually let's find out who that is. Who
I am looking it
was
up right
the
now.
music creator to Fallout 4? Let's see. We got the Fallout 4 soundtrack. Incidentally enough, a lot of my soundboard stuff that viewers can use on my Twitch. Actually, I got Frank Horrigan's Semper Fi bit on there, and it's great. So wow. Now there's a name.
Einon Zur?
Yeah.
Is that what you're seeing too? Okay.
Composer Einon Zur returned to
Yeah,
create
that sounds familiar.
orchestral. Let me punch this up a little bit so people can actually read along with.
We
So
also did
the game is a more
Dragon
personal
Age
story.
2.
See, this is dope, man. I love that. And then of course they got It's All Over But the Crying was the first song chosen with the ink spots for Fallout 4. But I'm kind of wondering what the theme song is going to be for Starfield. And honestly, if they mix in some JFK freaking quotes in there from the watershed speech of space, that's going to be amazing as fuck. I actually need to get into the what is it, the gameplay reveal, because they actually had a museum in the gameplay reveal to Starfield, and I need to actually chuck that into the video that I've been working on for the last fucking 3 weeks. But
Yeah, there's a video that I didn't watch, but I saw the title for, or maybe some of the text in the video on the caption. How it was asking the question, how much does the old world influence that world that you're playing in today?
right.
Because apparently someone's wearing something. I forgot what it was. For some reason I want to say like the Eiffel Tower, but it's not it.
Right.
It's like a little pendant or something.
So okay, so I look at the loadout.com, and the thing, of course, is back in September 30th. Starfield's soundtrack actually inspired the space RPG's aesthetic. Okay,
Really?
that's like I don't know about that. Composer Einon Zur, who has scored every Fallout game for Bethesda, actually, wow, that's a new one. and a more than 20-year partnership, says that he first wrote the first pieces of music for Starfield, including that now distinctive main theme, after a meeting with the developer in 2016, 2 years before the game was even first announced. So, hey man, I'm all for it. Let's you know, I mean, I love it when a company comes together and says, all right, this is a new IP. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of problems that we got to address before we even announce. And it sounds like Bethesda, I mean, giving them the benefit of the doubt, I know I'm going to get flack for this. It's a new IP. It's Bethesda. It's going to be buggy. But
Most likely.
that's to be expected. Now, it is Bethesda, so it might be more buggy than it needs to be. But whatever, man. It is what it is. So, what else we got?
Unfortunate, but we'll live with it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
look at...
Starfield.
Yeah. Okay, so level 40 space system. Level 40? Is that
So apparently there are leveled systems, and I don't know if 40 is like a lower level or a higher level, but pretty much once you get through the first part of the game and you actually start being able to travel through space, it's pretty much open world out there.
open
You can do
world
the
in the
quest,
galaxy?
or you can go through asteroids or something. But you can pop into places or different galaxies where they're higher level than what you are, and it's kind of like you're not supposed to go this way. Turn around, try somewhere else.
Okay. Oh, if they give you like a warning or something, that'd be kind of neat.
They might give you a warning, or they might just you go into your first fight, and you see they're like a bunch of like skull and crossbones instead of levels.
Well, that's gonna be right up your alley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Trying to fight harder enemies.
Oh yeah, I remember this picture. Oh, the backend fetch failed. Error 503. It's not 404, but whatever. Fine. I remember this picture when it was first announced. Like this little satellite thing just orbiting. But anyway, what else we got?
Kind of cool. I haven't seen that picture.
Space suites will be able to have equipped. Oh, space suits. Space suits will be. It's like space suites. All right, cool. All right, let's do it.
We have space suites.
All right, it's a sweet space.
It's like
we'll be
Skittles and
Skittles, because Skittles are good. Anyway, we'll be able to have equipped items to fight off elemental environments like in Nomad. Yeah. So like you got like
it was worded kind of weird.
Yeah,
Elemental environments.
yeah. So you have like environmental shields for different specific things.
Yeah, like radiation. I'm assuming, just regular space. Probably heat, cold. Can't think of anything else really.
Well, so there's radiation, there's heat, there's cold. There could be biological problems. And by the way, Crack Kish, dude, I definitely agree with you. Every game has its bugs at first; they'll get worked out. See, I come from a time where you could go out, you buy a cartridge, you run home, you unbox the sucker, you throw it in there. Might have to blow out the dust, but you throw it in there, you push it down, you push the power on your Nintendo Entertainment System, and you're ready to rock. No day one patches. No fucking updates, no nothing, just grab and go. And you'd be thanking your lucky stars that it's a good game, not like, oh, I don't know, E.T. the game. But
E.T. the game?
Yeah, dude, that was the shittiest goddamn game ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but anyway, what's on screen right now actually is a in-game video capture of the cockpit to the Starfield spaceship, and
the cockpit.
Yeah, in the cockpit. Yeah, you got your suit guy right here, and then you've got. Oh, I can't zoom in any farther. Really? Lies. I can zoom in. God damn it. So what I find interesting is that it's this oil rig looking type thing. Now, in real life, this would be horrible. Because, with all the different stress that's on your body and the structure when you're under G's and accelerating or whatever, this is not a good, feasible thing to do. But aesthetically, I like it. You got all these different toggles and switches. I think they were trying to, take a look at the, Oh shit, that's a little bit too much. Oh my god, wrong way. That was more like along the lines of, you know, being in a cockpit for like a 747 from Boeing or something. But what I find interesting is that the seat that this guy is sitting in looks like an ejection seat from like an F-15.
Yeah, it's very thick.
Yeah, so there might be a reason for that, but it looks like it's believable. It looks like this thing has its own self-contained life support just in case everything else goes tits up in the spaceship. Now, having said this, I'm probably getting ahead of you, but on your bullet points. But it has been announced that you
talk about whatever.
Yeah, but it seems by all intents and purposes that you can actually crew your ship with other NPCs and they have tasks to perform, and you're basically the captain, man.
That's what I've heard as well.
And this is why I'm going to harken back. Don't call it a callback, but I would love to see a mod where you're like, all right, guys, fuck that Star Citizen bullshit. Let's go ahead and freaking crew up in Starfield. That would be amazeballs. I would love that shit.
Also make decisions for you.
What do you mean?
I think it's only when you join factions, which we're getting into right after that other bullet point. You become a part of a faction, and you might have to make some sort of decision. You can have one of your... It's either a person inside the faction that's like under you, or someone who's manning your ship. You can have them answer or reply to whatever the other factions want you to answer to. And it can be good or bad outcome depending on how you treat them and their mood.
Okay. All right. So it's like kind of like a relationship system between you and the NPC, and then they'll either make a decision out of spite or they'll agree with you. Yeah. There's something definitely. I'm gonna have to link that Lex Friedman thing. I mean, he did a fantastic job with that interview with Todd Howard.
I'll have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. But factions of Starfield. Now, this just kind of popped into my head. But if you guys remember playing Fallout New Vegas, there was basically 4 different ways to end that game. There was 4 different endings. There was one where you sided with Caesar's or Caesar's Legion if you're a heathen. There's the house always wins, where you basically was the gopher for house. And then there was the NCR version of that, of the ending, and then there was the Yes Man, where basically you're the wild card. Now, Crimson Fleet kind of reminds me of Caesar's Legion. The United Colonies kind of reminds me of maybe NCR. You know, I mean, of course, I'm talking on my ass. This is pure speculation, guys. And the Free Star Collective kind of reminds me of almost like a player agency type thing, because from everything that I've read, the United Colonies is like speaking from the perspective of empire building, commerce, whereas the Free Star Collective is more of a independent, go forth and explore. And I think that's going to be the major focus and thrust of Starfield itself. But that's a double-edged sword, because you look at games like No Man's Sky, where, you know, if the game gets to be too sandboxy, you have no focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can just do everything all at once.
Yeah, and then of course you lose focus, or like, well, you know, when I log into a game like Starfield, I mean, that's a true interstellar sandbox. It's like, what do you want to do? I don't know. I'm just gonna wing it. You're not gonna play for very long and start in Elite Dangerous. But if you say, all right, I'm gonna go 600 freaking light years outside the bubble over here, I'm gonna get some Guardian technology. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other thing, and then I'm gonna come back. You're focused. You have a frame of focus to go for. And then you feel like, all right, I'm this far down, etc., etc. I got this. All right, I feel like I accomplished something, and then that's the game session, right?
Yeah, you have objectives to complete.
Yeah, but
you
like
have something to look forward to.
Yeah. Now, be that as it may, Don, you've played Fallout 4, yes?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question, bruh. The game would tell you to go to Diamond City. How long did it take for you to actually get there? Did you go there right away? Or do you say, fuck you, game. This is my world. I'm shooting in it. I go where I want.
So I've done a couple playthroughs of New Vegas, or not New Vegas, but 4. And the first playthrough, I'm like, I'll fucking get there when I get there, you know?
Right. Well, I was.
But then
Oh, go ahead.
every other playthrough, I realized that getting to Diamond City was actually pretty useful. There's a lot of trading and a lot of actual, like, there's a lot of use for Diamond City. So I went there and I didn't necessarily continue the story once I got there. I just kind of discovered it and then I went started and did my own thing until I was ready to do the main story.
Oh. Sorry, I just looked this up. Apparently, there's 5 different factions in Starfield.
Oh, 5. Okay, I guess I didn't get them all.
No, that's fine. So there's joinable factions. There's Constellation, Crimson Fleet, Freestar Collective, Ryujin Industries, and the United Colonies.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, very, very.
And apparently, there's also only 4 like main cities
Yeah.
that for the story, anyways.
Now, just because I gotta plug this, that Ryujin Cities, that picture right there, reminds me of
Pretty
Cyberpunk.
nice picture.
It reminds me of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, that
dude,
very much is
fuck yeah,
gives
man.
me Cyberpunk vibes.
And this one here, this is like what happened with Stargate Atlantis that decided to freaking become self-sufficient.
Looks like a big fancy oil rig.
It does. Oh my god, it so does. Maybe it's the Enclave, and they finally got their shit together.
Oh, maybe, yeah. About time.
So apparently, there's some smaller groups and factions in Starfield as well. I do know that there's going to be a thing of religion in there.
Oh, there is.
Great serpent worshippers.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Get me in there. You got me at serpent.
Hey, yo, where's Jormungandr at?
Right? I think it's probably the House of Varun. But yeah, this is enlightening even for me. I guess color me enlightened. Yeah, enlightened right there. That's me. All right, so
Wow.
you can also join with these factions, and you can go down every path for factions at the same time as far as we can. Okay, now, hang on. All right, have you guys ever played Morrowind?
I have not.
I did when I was super young, so technically no.
Okay, so Morrowind was my first introduction to a Bethesda game. And they had the factions in there. They had the Thieves Guild, they had the Fighters Guild, they had the Mages Guild, they had the Morag Tongue, and they had this really cool interchange in between all the different factions. Like the Fighters Guild was going after the Thieves Guild, and the Thieves Guild was mortal enemies to the Morag Tongue, and the Mages Guild was, I mean, you couldn't, if you didn't play your cards right, you couldn't become the master of all of those guilds. But it was possible, and you had to do it in a very specific way. And I remember sitting down at Sherry's with that freaking guidebook open after I beat the game. This is bullshit, right? I'm like, okay, so I do this quest, I do that quest, I do this quest, I do that quest, I do this, and then I have to go over here, and I do that, and then this, that, and another thing. And I was able to do it, and mapped it out, and I got it. But there was no real fast travel in that game. There was a mark and return, and if you did the quest, you had to go through these portals. Now, you're not going to be able to see it because it's behind a bunch of shit, but I've got this this cloth map of Ultima 2. I believe it, yeah, the Revenge of the Enchantress, and it takes place on Earth, but it's all fantasized out, right? And they had these portals that would go from different continents, and if you had the right reagents, you could teleport. The same held true for Morrowind. And literally, if you were to walk from the top of Ardenfell all the way down to where you started the game, it would actually legitimately take you 5 hours. It was huge. And with no fast travel, it was just amazing. But like if they reinstitute some type of byplay of all these different factions kind of getting in the nitty-gritty, that'd be amazing. I love that. So that was
It would be really cool. And that is actually another point as to why it's only kind of rumored you might be able to do that, because one faction could be at war with another faction, and that could be part of the main story, and it might not work out.
right.
But it would be really cool if it did.
Well, also I hope that the Starfield. I miss the days where the game can allow you to fail. Like,
Yeah.
just to bring up Morrowind again, there was these magical items that allow you to use these ultimate weapons. And if you lost those magical items, just picking up the weapon would kill you. And then that's the game. It allows you
Wow.
to kill like Vivek, which is supposed to be a god, right? And if you killed Vivek, you couldn't finish the game because he's the one that gives you the quest to go after Molag Bal.
Do you know that beforehand?
No, but it's
Oh.
still possible to kill key people in the game. And then it'll tell you after the fact, so you can save scum, but it'll tell you after the fact, says you just killed somebody that is important to the story. You may not be able to finish the game. And it just popped up. It just popped up on your screen. It was great for that to happen.
It was just a pop up, not like, are you sure you want to do this?
No, it allows you true freedom of movement. And it gives
Nice.
player agency, actual agency. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could go out and kill, you could lay waste a whole mages guild in one town. And then you have the ordinators after your ass. And that one guild in that town is gone. It won't get repopulated. And you go to another guild, of say you murdered the mages in one place and you went to it. Well, the mages would be a bad idea because, or not a good thing. But say you do something like that to the fighters. And you go to the next fighters guild and the next thing, it's like, hey, we know what you did. No, we're not dealing with you. You can't come in.
Yeah, you're bad with every fighter everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, of course you could buy your way out, but it was a really cool
Maybe.
concept. Oh wait, sounds like a pretty cool game. I'll have to check it out. Does it have a release date set yet? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm all looking at my fucking monitor here. So there is some scuttlebutt. Let me get this thing. So a trait. It's the last bullet point. A trait called a hero worship. He gives you gifts, but he follows you around talking nonstop after. Oh!
Stop, and then it's apparently there's a similar character in Elder Scrolls 4.
Oh, I fucking hated that guy. I hated that guy so bad. Don, you know what he's talking about, right?
Similar character in this game.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. Dude, that's
Apparently it's just a trait, and you may be able to remove the trait or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of traits in there. I kind of cover that over in my Starfield missed opportunities. I hope yada 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 thing that I put out like 6 months ago. But that was probably my first foray into video editing. So anyway, shit, man, this Twitchside chat is taking on way too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this. To answer your question, correct, Kish. Xbox Bethesda is gonna be putting out a standalone E3 type thing, right? And
Just for Starfield.
is it just for Starfield? I thought they were going to be covering all their stuff.
I think. Let's see. What was I had one bullet point, and I must have got rid of it. But there was a thing they were doing just for a release of their games, their own kind of E3 thing. But they said Starfield wouldn't be in there, and they would actually make Starfield its own thing in another release or showcase. Yeah.
All right, so I just looked it up. I just typed in love DuckDuckGo. Xbox and Bethesda January showcases official standalone Starfield event to follow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna probably be. Well, I mean, E3 is like when? June? May?
I think it's June.
Okay, so apparently, however, it's already promised to hold a second Starfield-only presentation later down the line, which will focus solely on Bethesda's new game.
To answer the question, we do not have a release date yet.
So no release date, but the fact that they're doing their own standalone stuff is, dude, wouldn't it be great if they released it before E3, just to stick it in the craw of all the other people that are struggling to fucking get money?
That would be hilarious to see everybody's reactions.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing. But hopefully they do it, but not to sacrifice the quality. I mean, because it's Bethesda, man. It's gonna be buggy as shit. But on top of that, it's a new IP, so any new IP is gonna be buggy. And in my opinion, indie developers that put out a new intellectual property they gotta work their asses off and make sure they get the execution right. Otherwise, it's just gonna go and fall by the wayside. So, anyway, all right, Don, you have been quiet for way too long. You're plotting there in the corner, wanting to cut my eyes out. Yes.
I mean, if that's what you want to believe.
Well, I mean,
That's not a no.
after all that verbal diarrhea thrown into your ear, man, what do you think? What do you think?
It definitely sounds like an interesting game. Like I said, before this happened, I said not a lot of space games really capture my attention, right? There's been plenty of games that I've tried, that I've found interesting. Like No Man's Sky is one of those games that does capture my space thrill or space need, space whatever it's called, to a point where it's actually, it satisfies it. I won't say it's enough for me to, love it, but it satisfies it. So, having something that's gonna be like Skyrim but in space would definitely be interesting because I love RPG games. Like before, I was playing Dragon Age just because it was different and it wasn't Skyrim.
Right.
Just to give me that tickle that little itch I have for RPG games. So it definitely would be nice to have something that's different that scratches that RPG itch and that space itch. Because there was what was it? Star Wars Squadron, I think it was supposed to be that space fighter game that came out, and it was like, all right, first week not bad, but then as you play it, you realize you're like, this game's not as good as it's not as polished as it could have been. There's definitely more of that unfavorable, or more favored towards the rebels in regards to that. So the fighting wasn't necessarily fair.
Well,
But
I will say this.
I'm just
as
ranting
defense.
at this point.
No, it's good. There's a whole purpose of having this discussion. Like, and all right, so for me personally, I don't like giving EA a shred of credit at all. Ever since they shat all over the Star Wars Battlefront franchise, which I love, by the way, and then them doing that whole Star Wars Battlefront 2 bullshit, I wanted to take all those executives out there and shoot them in the head, like New Vegas style, right? But I do give credit where credit's due, and I have to recognize that EA did Star Wars Squadrons, and they didn't. And it was sold, I think, for $35, and for what it was a good experience. I enjoyed the story. I liked the space, the space combat, the simulation, whatever. Could it have been better? Yes, but for what it was, they didn't put in any transactions, any mini transactions. You didn't have to freaking spend another dime on that title. Now, they also did the same thing with Jedi Fallen Order. I believe it with what's his name? I forgot his name.
I think what, Cal? Was it Cal, right?
Yeah, you don't want to call him Cal Ripken, but all he had was ponchos, that you unlock or whatever. But
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but that game is good, and then they're coming out with a second installment, Survivor. So if they follow that trend that they've already established with those two games by themselves, EA can grab their way out of the freaking emotional and mental bankruptcy that they've been operating on for the last 15 plus years. So, yeah, that can get a little hunter color. Anyway, well, I think it's time to. Well, actually, Pac-Man, you got anything else to say, or can we?
No, I mean, there's
we covered
still
a
more
lot.
to talk about, but
Yeah, we definitely covered a lot. But I guess the upshot to this, the Cliff Note version is that Starfield's a new IP. It's coming out from Bethesda. I'm trying to manage my expectations, but the way everything that I've seen about it has got me really super excited. The modability of the ships, just straight out of the box, so to speak. And then, of course, the modding community. Hopefully, they don't fuck up the whole Nexus mod thing or try to redo the Creation Club thing like they tried to do, I think last year for both Skyrim and Fallout. I respect the idea that Bethesda is trying to throw money at some of these real successful modders. I really do, but they need to kind of have a hands-off approach and actually kind of pull whose mods have been downloaded enough, and who is getting a lot of recognition from the community, and then they just cut a fucking blank check to the modders, or reach out and says, hey man, we like your work, why don't you come work for us? Now that is a double-edged sword, because number one, yeah, that's great. I mean, there's some modders that are working for companies and they're doing great, but at the same time, that's more power into the hands of a corporation, and that should always be taken with a grain of salt, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I got, and I think that's enough of us jaw jacking. Are we ready to get our gun off?